Wanted to record a quick demo showing you what the workflow would look like for using this with farmers to capture their practices on their farms, and then show you some of the changes that we would make to make this simpler for farmers. So you might notice some of these things look a little complex when we first go through it, but these will be improved as we move along with this process. So I'll start here at the trials page, which shows basically all of the farmers. They can be organized into folders here, and you'll see what I mean as I go into this. So I have this demonstration folder, for example. Within this, I have a few different potential programs here. So Nestle, PepsiCo, I'll choose General Mills here. Within that, I have a 2024 folder. And in the 2024 folder, I can see all of the admins that may be potentially used in your organization. And if I click on a folder here for one of these admins that has something within it, now I see growers organized here by folders. So let's say I go into this Larry Smith folder, I can now see all of his fields. And from that, he would be able to enter his evidence collection, all of that information that needs to be filled in would be able to be available for him here. And now I'll show you what that data would look like if a grower were to collect that from their mobile device. So now I can switch to my mobile app. And here you will see the task interface for what has been assigned to me. So looks like I have one task due this week that's to do. So a farmer would be able to access this app, see that they have a task due this week, 3 tasks overdue. Let's click on this one that's due this week. So I see that, excuse me, I have a task here with my name and annual data collection. I click on this, and then I click start collecting. Now it will ask me to confirm my location. So that may be useful if you're looking for something that's specific to a field, like a photo. You can confirm where that location was. And then I see the grower name is already pre-populated with my name, and the field name also already pre-populated. I'm collecting for 2023, and then I can choose what was the primary crop grown here. So if I wanted soybean and I wanted to change that selection, I can do that. Now that will bring up specific questions related to that. I'll show you the difference. So if I were to choose corn instead, that will change to corn yield. So these are dynamic forms that allow you to nest questions within a hierarchy, and that way they only pertain to specific options that were selected previously. So for example, on this soybean yield, let's say I had 65 bushels, the planting date within a week or two, let's say it was April 26th, harvest date within a week or two, and let's say we did that on September 20th. Was the residue burned prior to planting? No. Was the crop desiccated prior to harvest? Let's say no on that one. Was the residue removed? Yes. Now this additional question pops up. What percent of crop residue was removed? Best estimate. Say we removed 20%. Was there a crop failure on this field? Then I can continue to go through those things. I can also choose to add an attachment to any one of these. So for anything where you need evidence collection, you can click this add attachment button. Now it allows me to take a photo or attach an image that is already in my camera roll. So if I choose take picture, I can take a picture of what I need there, and that attachment will now be included. And you can continue going through this, and when you're done, you click done, and now I can go back to my home screen, see this task that is due, and change that to done. I could also access that through the specific trial or field that I was collecting for, and then I can view those results that I entered there as well. So I can scroll over, see all of that information for everything that was entered, and be able to review those there. Continuing on with this, I'll show you how we can manage locations and have each grower's field captured in here. So for example, here are some from what Austin has been working on. You can see all of those fields are available here. So each of those can be attached and tied to a specific, what is called trial right now, that would eventually be called field. So you have that geo-referenced and available with those results. You can see specifically what field it was for. You also have forms. So I wanted to show you a little bit more about how this form was created. So this is one that Austin has created here, where we have the grower name, the field name, and what you're looking at is a preview of that form that I was showing in mobile earlier. So you have all of those questions that I was answering, and you can see how that dynamic option works. So if I were to select winter wheat, for example, now it will pop up the question and ask me for winter wheat yield. If I change that to cotton, it'll change that to cotton yield. So all of those are available to be visible once a previous condition has been met. And then you can create these forms very seamlessly and reuse them over and over again every year. So if I wanted to select yes on this one, I will get some additional questions. And if you ever had to change or update anything about these, all you have to do is come back and make a quick change to this form, and then it will be updated and available for the next year or the next time someone needs to use it. Then the last thing I wanted to show here is what the interface will look like for this specific use case. So we've scoped all this out for what we need. You can see that this is the current interface that I'm looking at right now. And now if we advance to the next one, we can see that we have a much cleaner and simpler interface where you only have the information. So you can see the owner is that specific CAS. Then you can see the map of all the fields for this grower, the tasks for the grower for what they need to fill out here, and then their progress to completion. And you can see other things like their results in their notebook to be able to get a view and a real-time overview of what's going on there. We would also be able to have things like the attestation being docu-signed directly from the app, and then being able to bulk upload data here. So another benefit of applying those forms, like I showed you earlier, to a group of fields at one time where all of those management practices were conducted. So the grower doesn't have to go back and redo that multiple times. So for example, you can see here that we have 5 locations selected, and this is the same process I'm going through as the mobile data collection, except you're seeing the web interface version of it to be able to demonstrate a little better and in a little more detail what this would look like. If this did need to be different, these answers needed to be different for those 5 different locations, you could always select that you want to have different answers for those multiple locations. Similarly, for the evidence collection, you can upload that information directly to the web platform or through the mobile app, and you would be able to have those for the different locations all together in the same screen. Then the last part here is the dashboards. So being able to have those custom dashboards for you guys where anyone can get a quick high-level overview of what's going on within your organization. So overall, we can see the growers, the farm surveys, fields, total acres, crops, the contractors you're working with, and then the progress to completion of each individual farmer, the status of each crop survey, the tasks and their progress to completion overall. Then you can see things like we have it broken down here as area per state, contractor workload, the fields/acres per crop, and then an overview of the map of all your fields for one location. So this could be divided out for a specific contractor, or you could see this as an overview for the entire organization. Here's an example of the same interface, except we're looking at area per grower instead of per field, I believe, that was shown in the last one. Then you would also be able to expand this map and get an idea of where these fields were located and filter this on the map based on a specific contractor or specific crop, and then be able to drill down onto that person's responsibilities and the fields that they're working with, get things like the coordinates so they would be able to plan their work route and then see the progress to completion for those tasks that have been completed. And that pretty much wraps it up. If you have any more questions, we'd be happy to answer those. Thanks for your time.